Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about something a little sad, but honestly not that bad. So as many of you know, I decided to start taking HRT this year. I started taking testosterone as part of my goals of transitioning as a non-binary person and just having a body that's a little bit more authentically mine. And as many of you may also know, if you've been watching any of my videos, I used to have a really cute pair of surface anchors right here next to my eyes and a little cute anchor in the center of my forehead. Now, as we all know, surface work is long-term temporary. In fact, I did a whole video discussing things about this about a month or so ago. I'll link it here. But it doesn't last forever. They're long-term temporary piercings, so they can last for a long while, but they eventually do typically tend to need to be removed or start to reject. So, two of mine left this year. The one on my forehead left earlier this year, and then the one next to my right eye left kind of recently. I do still actually have the piercing on my left eye, I just don't have a top on it. I went and got a facial done today, so that's why. But I did have to take out these two. And honestly, a big part of the reason why I had to take them out this year was because I started taking testosterone, because I started HRT. And this is something that I don't see a lot of people talking about online, especially for folks with piercings, and so many of my trans clients have all sorts of different piercings and aren't always prepared for the way that starting HRT can impact them. So let's talk about it a little bit. So you might be wondering to yourself, how on earth does HRT mean that it was time for your surface anchors to come out? And honestly, at first, I didn't think this was because of HRT. Earlier this year, my forehead anchor just started kind of lifting and sitting at an angle, and nothing I was doing was getting it to lay flatter and better, so I ultimately made the call to pull it and redo it. Then, the same thing happened with my surface anchor over here, and this one I fought with for like a couple of months, back and forth, getting it to be good. It would flare up again. Getting it to lay flat, it would lift up again. And actually, you'd think as someone who works on so many trans clients that I would have connected those dots immediately for myself, but because I was starting low dose, and because I wasn't seeing many other facial changes yet, in the back of my mind I was like, there's no way it's the T yet, like it's gotta be something else going on. But now that I have had to finally remove it, it is time to accept that it was in fact the HRT that caused me to lose these piercings. Now when you start taking HRT, whether you're taking testosterone or estrogen, these can have a really big effect on your skin. Now there's lots of other effects that HRT can have that we're not going to get into in this video, but I want to focus on the way it affects skin and body fat. Body fat redistribution is one of the biggest elements of HRT. So for folks looking for masculinizing effects, testosterone makes it easier for you to pack on muscle. It redistributes the fat of your body to give you broader shoulders and a bigger chest, but it also redistributes the fat of your face. You often end up with a more masculine face shape after a while on HRT. Your jaw structure kind of comes in, and the shape around the eyes can change as well. Your eyes end up a little bit more recessed, a little bit set back. The brow bone can become a little bit more prominent. These are all masculinizing effects that the hormone of testosterone has on your body fat. And estrogen has similar results as well. You start to see a softening and a loss of definition when folks take estrogen. More subcutaneous body fat builds up in different areas of the body. You get more of that hourglass shape. You're holding more weight in your hips and in your chest. Breast tissue starts to grow. But facial features soften as well. You start holding more body fat in your face. Your cheeks get fuller. You lose some of that definition that you had from having so much testosterone because now you have so much estrogen in your body. Not only do these two hormones affect body fat, but it also, like I mentioned, affects skin. Testosterone can make your entire skin, all of the skin on your body, thicker, oilier, and it can even change the size and the way your pores react to different things. Estrogen can do the opposite. Estrogen tends to balance out skin. Folks tend to deal with less acne and less skincare issues with estrogen, but because it's a hormone that your body's not used to, you may still deal with some hormonal acne on estrogen, and a lot of folks on estrogen go through changes in their skin, whether it be going from oily to dry, from dry to combination, as their body kind of gets used to the hormone and relevels itself back out. But these are two really big changes that can affect piercings we have, especially facial piercings, and especially surface piercings, kind of no matter where they are. Like I mentioned, we all know surface piercings are long-term temporary and they're not going to last forever. All sorts of different things can cause surface piercings to end up wanting to reject, and weight loss and weight gain and body changes are one of those factors. Now, overall, is weight loss or weight gain going to make all of your surface anchors reject? No. I've had clients who've gone through multiple pregnancies with surface anchors, but it is something that can cause this to happen, and I have seen clients gain or lose significant amounts of weight and their surface anchors start to sit taller in the skin, they start to get snagged on things, and eventually it's time for them to go. So we know that weight gain and weight loss can be a factor in surface work, and that's what's happening just on a much deeper level when we're talking about our skin on HRT and we're talking about that body fat redistribution that's coming with being on these hormones. That's literally affecting the fat tissue and the skin cells that your piercings sit in, and especially with surface piercings, they're hypersensitive to that. Couple that in with the skin changes that come with being on HRT. For example, your skin getting very oily, especially your T-zone, which is right around where my anchors were that they were having problems with. Hormonal acne that can crop up from being on either estrogen or testosterone and cause you to deal with acne and cysts that you weren't previously. Your whole skin is just kind of very disrupted for your first few years on HRT. And this is well known and well documented. Many folks talk about acne and hormonal changes with starting HRT. But what we don't think about in relation to that is the way those changes affect our skin and thus affect the piercings that sit in our skin. For me, I'm starting to get close to about a year on T. I think I've got a couple more months before I hit that mark, but I'm definitely starting to notice face shape changes around my eyes, and I'm noticing major changes to my skin. The skincare routine I've been using for years just simply does not work anymore. My skin is different now that I'm on testosterone. And looking at the way that my anchors ended up needing to come out and how they've been healing, I feel certain that I can say that it's because of the way testosterone has changed my skin that caused me to need to take those piercings out. Now the good news is I'm not super upset about it. They were long-term temporary piercings and I knew that going into it. And while, yeah, they're gone for now, I will absolutely be getting them redone once my skin is healed up and healthy enough for me to do so. So it's not goodbye for now, it's just goodbye temporarily. But in a bigger picture, this means that if you're taking HRT, it can absolutely affect your healing piercings. Whether they're earlobe piercings that you've had your whole entire life that are flaring up, you got stretched ears that are suddenly stretching way easier now that you're on estrogen, or you just have existing piercings that are randomly, seemingly irritated, hard to control, and hard to manage, HRT is a factor in all of that. For me, even though I ended up having to take out my anchors, I have literally no regrets about starting HRT and starting testosterone, and even if I had known ahead of time that that was going to happen, I would still do it all over again. Like I said, I'm not that sad about it because I'll get the piercings back, and it is so worth it to trade 2 small piercings for all the beneficial effects that I'm having from being on this medication. But that being said, it's really something to think about if you're getting on HRT and you have a lot of piercings or you want a lot of piercings. This is a medication that's really affecting your skin and really affecting your body, and by extension, it means it's going to affect your piercings too. So if you are on HRT or you're planning to get on HRT, take some time to think about how you would deal with the outcomes if you did have to retire any of your piercings or change what you wear in them or might have problems with them. Go into this process remembering that that might happen, and it's okay and it's normal if it does, but also make sure you have a piercer who you're comfortable with and you can be honest with. You can tell, hey, I'm starting HRT, this might affect my piercings. Are you educated about it? If you're not, are you willing to become educated about it? And make sure you're working with someone who's going to be able to guide you through these changes and work with you to make sure your piercings stay healthy the whole time. Tiny shameless plug, but I do have a Patreon that is all educational content for piercers, and a huge topic on my Patreon is HRT and piercings for trans folks and non-binary folks, and I have a whole series that goes in depth on different hormones and how those hormones affect our skin and affect our body piercings. I'm also going to be doing a really in-depth professional dive about what happened with my surface anchors, why it happened from testosterone, and how piercers can identify that for their clients. So if you're a piercer or an apprentice or getting into the industry and you want to see like a deep scientific dive about this, that's all on my Patreon. But I wanted to sit down and talk about this because I had gotten some comments from people who are like, where are your anchors? What's happening? And I know y'all are invested in some of my changes through HRT, and while this one is a little bit of a bummer, I won't lie, I was sad to take them out. It's really not a big deal, and I hope that by talking about my experiences with this, I help other folks realize that it is okay to have these problems and these struggles with your piercings. It's okay if you have to take a couple piercings out as part of the HRT process. Obviously, it's no one's favorite choice to do that, but it's not the end of the world. And if you are finding yourself in that position, you are definitely not alone. Even the best professional piercers cannot help it when our surface anchors decide that they are done. I hope you like this video, and if you want to see me do more content in relation to HRT and piercings, or you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. As always, your support means the world to me, so please hit like and subscribe, and I can't wait to sit down and chat with y'all again soon. Bye!